One, it's Joe from Elephants in My Handbag. I hope you're all well this Thursday afternoon and that you've managed to stay out of the storms and stay safe. And we are so excited. The lovely Serena Baker is joining us for a chat, and we're going to be chatting about her beautiful book, which I'm going to show you some pictures. And she's just here. She's just requested, so I'm just going to go live. It's lovely when a plan comes together, isn't it? So hopefully Instagram will do its thing. Yay! Hi!
Hello.
Lovely to meet you, Serena. I'm Jo.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Handbag. It's nice
it's
see
nice
you.
to join you.
It's really lovely to join you. We've been so excited. Oh my word, this book. But before we go to there, so oh my word again, Sewing Bee in 2021, the youngest ever, and the first Scottish one. What a lovely bow to feather in your cap. How amazing. So does it seem like a long time ago?
Yeah, it does seem like a long time ago now, especially because we filmed in 2020 as well. So that's even longer ago. Yeah, I think when the show was coming out, I sort of had a whole country behind me because no one from Scotland ever wins anything. So I think people were really excited that we won something. We'd also won the Bake Off that year as well. Peter from Edinburgh Uni also won in the same year, which was a bit odd. So yeah, people were really excited.
Oh, it was a great episode, and it was a breath of fresh air for everyone, wasn't it? After the awful couple of years that we all had. So yeah. It was just it always is. It was lovely. But you had some really lovely contestants with you, didn't you? And the one that sticks in my mind the most, because I loved him as well, was Adam. He was just so jolly and happy.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else you had. Who else was with you? Are you in touch with any of them now?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I'm actually going down to London next weekend to see some of them, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, there was Rebecca and Raf were in the final.
Yes.
Farry, Damien. I'm trying to work by memory. there was loads of people, 12 of us in total. Yeah, so still all of them. We all have a good thing. Yeah.
So do you still have your WhatsApp group?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, it's great. And obviously anything to do with Sewing Bee, our customers are just love it. It is just one of those sit back and it's like a cuddle in your armchair, isn't it? It's one of those really easy things to watch, and they're always it's lovely watching the relationships between all the sewers develop, like it did with you, with your guys when you were doing it. It's such a great program. So after that, this happened, which was you must be so proud, and your mum must be so proud.
Yeah, my whole family is really proud. Yeah, it was quite a surprise to be approached by a publisher. I didn't really think that was on the cards for me, I guess, because I hadn't really seen that from people who'd been on Sewing Bee before. So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, but as soon as we were talking about it for a long time before we actually signed anything and started to write it, it was just really exciting. And even though I was obviously doing my uni course, I knew I couldn't turn it down. It was too good of an opportunity, and really like a new way to sew, I guess, as well, because it was just a new way to think about sewing, and like a different skill to learn at the same time. Obviously I'd never written a book before. So I learned a lot along the way. But yeah, it was really amazing to do that.
So I know you're a med student, so for those that are watching that knows, this lady is a superwoman because she's a med student as well as an amazing sewer, and she's produced this amazing book. So how on earth did you find the time?
I don't know.
You're one of those doers in life, aren't you?
Yeah. I think when I signed on to do the book, I didn't realise just how much time it would take me, which I think was a good thing, because if I had known, I maybe it would have made me more stressed. So I don't know, once I started, I had all these ideas and things just like kept building. And you know, like when I did, so there's a chapter on basic skills that you need, and at the start of the whole process, I made a list of everything that I thought were like the basic skills that you needed. But as I went through writing the book, I was like, oh, I need to do that. Oh, and that thing, and that thing, and that thing. And it was kind of like that for the whole book. Things just kept building up, and I just dealt with them at the time when I could. Found the time, and I used up my my holidays last year to write a lot of it as well. But it just, I was very lucky with my university schedule. The way I had my placements just worked out well. I had the less busy ones when I would be writing the book, so things just kind of worked from that in that respect. And I just found the time.
It was all meant to be, and you're obviously a doer in life, so it was all meant to be.
I think
so. Just to give the people who don't know, who haven't seen this book yet, just a brief overview of the content. So like you said, the ideas are quite unusual with the sewing ideas, so just a little brief overview of the content, if that's all right, Serena.
Yeah, of course. So my idea was to aim the book at people who are maybe, I mean, lots of different people who don't know how to sew yet, so there's beginner skills in there and easier projects, but also for people who do know how to sew. I think it's a bit of a different way to learn how to sew, because for every project I haven't included a pattern. What I've done instead is all of the projects in the book are built from pattern blocks. So pattern blocks are like the basic patterns. So all the books in the project are built from a basic bodice and a basic sleeve pattern. And for each of the projects, I would show you how to adjust the pattern and create lots of different designs. So my idea was that, one, it makes it a bit more accessible, because I think patterns are really confusing, and I was certainly intimidated by them when I started sewing. And I think, well, I've certainly heard from a lot of people that's what stops them giving sewing a go sometimes, because patterns are quite overwhelming. And I also thought then it's a new way to sew, so people who already know the basic skills and know how to use patterns can sort of experiment with a different way of sewing and building their own designs and learning a bit more about the pattern altering process, I guess.
Okay, so just flipping back from this just very briefly, I'd love to go back to this in a moment, but so how old were you when you started to sew? Were you really young, or did you pick it up at later? Did you pick it up?
I was 15.
So you were young, you were. And did you just did you just know that you had the flair when you started it?
Yeah, I think so. I wrote a bit about it in my book. Actually, I started sewing. I didn't realize at the time I started sewing when I was going through a bit of a rough time. Like, my parents were separating and stuff, so obviously not a great time in my life. And
quite a good escape, though. Quite a good.
Yeah, basically, I think that's what I used sewing as at that time. I just threw myself into it. But also, I loved being creative, and I also loved that with sewing, you got something at the end of it that you could wear and be proud of, and it was really satisfying when it worked. And when it didn't work, it's less satisfying. But so that's what's always attracted me to it. And yeah, as you say, as soon as I tried it, I don't know what it was, I just knew it was going to be my thing. And I just always wanted to do it all the time. Like, when I started sewing, I would just spend like all my weekends doing it 12 hours a day at the kitchen table, and my family were like trying to have lunch, and I'm like,
will you tidy up?
Yeah, basically.
We want to get the cheese sandwiches on the table, Serena.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I just knew it was for me. I just loved it.
So without going on, so when this arrived, there's a friend of mine who I just knew. I looked at all the patterns and I thought, oh my goodness, that suits her. That suits her. So she's off to buy the book. So because all the patterns are very her style. But what is your favourite pattern in this book?
Obviously, the pink one on the front has to be up there. That is just, yeah. That dress was a whole process to design and make, and yeah, I really love it. And I wore it to quite a fun event. I wore it to the National Television Awards last year, which was really, that's what I made it for. And actually, I've seen on Instagram a couple of people have made their own versions of it now, which I love. In my head, I was like, I'm going to put this one in the book, but I'm not sure if anyone will actually give it a go. But that's the one I've seen the most of.
I absolutely love it. And do you know what? I can see it exactly to wear to a really amazing occasion. But in my head, I can see you wearing really lovely shoes. But also, I think she could rock a pair of DMs with that as well.
Yeah, well, I think in the photos inside the book for that project, I'm wearing big chunky boots, because it was very Villanelle. That was the idea.
It is.
But apart from that dress, one of my favourite ones is actually it's like a blue halter neck dress that looks quite 60s. I don't know what page it's on. I think it's
don't worry. Oh, that
chapter
love that one. I love that one.
Yeah, I like that one. It's near the pink puffy dress.
All
But
right,
basically, yeah, it's but I really, really liked it because it's a style that that's the one.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It's a style that I hadn't really tried much of before. And I just it really surprised me how much I loved it. And I actually made another version of that dress using my own pattern for my book launch event in June. So
that is beautiful.
yeah.
I love a bow. I bet, well, Esme would love that, wouldn't she? She loves a bow, but I think that's gorgeous. But it's very elegant and very feminine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So which would you say for beginners, which would you say is the easiest pattern, easiest one to go with first?
So for absolute beginners, I would maybe go, so at the back of the book I've also got like scrap projects and bags as well, so I think those would be really great places to start for smaller projects.
You've got like the headbands and
headbands and scrunchies and a few pairs of earrings. There's also a tote bag in there, so I think those things are really good for giving it a go and seeing just like learning the skills and getting a bit of confidence using a machine if you've not done that before, and then like building up from there. And then there's also some more basic tops, like this one I'm wearing is I think the first project in the book, and it's quite a basic top made from a men's shirt, and I think that's also a good garment to start with for a beginner. Something you can wear.
One thing about this book as well, it does feel like you're holding people's hands through things too, which is really lovely. It's like it's a real you feel like you're really being talked through things well.
Oh, that's
very
good.
Well put together, well explained. It's
beautiful. I'm glad.
Sorry, I've got to show people some things because they've got to go and get this book because oh my word, how beautiful is that? The romantic dress.
Yeah, I tried to make it very colourful because I like wearing colourful clothes, and yeah, I think that was just a representation of me. But
so you've just come back from holiday. Did you wear that on holiday, this one? I bet you did.
I actually didn't have a space for it in my suitcase. I have like one backpack for 6 weeks, so I really had to like shove stuff in there.
Oh, we've just had a question come through.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has said, is Serena's accent Glasgow or Edinburgh? I can hear hints of both.
Well, I grew up outside of Glasgow, but I've lived in Edinburgh for 5 years now, so probably a bit of both. Also, I don't have a very strong accent.
No, it's not.
If you came to Scotland, you'd realise I don't have a strong accent at all. But yeah, you can probably hear a bit of both.
It's very gentle. It's a gentle accent. And I've got a couple. I hope you don't mind me asking you these questions. We've had quite a few come through. I just had to pick up. So we've had a lady that messaged this morning saying, "I can't wake up at 3 a.m. Are you going to save this?" So she's from New Zealand. So how lovely is that? So this is Sue Sews, who's on Instagram, and she says, "Is Serena a one project at a time person or several on the go at a time? Several on the go all at once?"
I'm a one project at a time person. Once I start, well, partly because once I start something, I get annoyed if I don't finish it. It stays on my mind until I finish it. But also I don't really have that much space to spread out and sew. So once I start a project, basically I sew in my bedroom. And basically when I start a project, my room is a state until I finish it and tidy it. So basically I only start a project when I know I'm going to have time to finish it within a couple of days. Otherwise I just live in mess, which I don't like. So that means that I also can't really have multiple things on the go at one time because I just don't really have the space for it.
Are you working on something at the moment?
Actually, I don't have my sewing machines because I took them in to be serviced while I was away over summer, but I am planning, it's my birthday in a few weeks and I'm going to have a bit of a party with my friends, so I've got some sequin fabric, so I'm going to make myself a dress for that. I think that's my next thing.
What colour sequins?
I can show you, it's just here, but it's in a bag, so it'll be some rustling. That's
right, we don't mind.
I actually got it from the Netherlands when I was there over summer. There's a fabric market, so it's
oh, someone just said happy birthday. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. It's not until September, but you know, I like to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like pink and green and black, and it's got like chevron pattern in it. So that's what I'm working with. So that's my next project.
So I hope you're going to go out dancing and that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just maybe for the boots, not the heels.
Yeah, definitely not heels.
And then Zoe, who's from Bristol, she said, what inspiration is, where did you get the inspiration for your designs? I mean, we know this one, but is there any other thing that you draw from particularly, or is it just, are they all different?
It's all different, to be honest. A lot of it is just what I see. I'm a very visual person, so you know, I'll walk down the street and I'll see lots of people wearing things that I like, and a lot of the time I just get inspiration from people when I'm walking down the street or friends. And a lot of the time I look on Pinterest as well. I have sort of created little boards
Yes.
for different, you know, I have one that's about, because I've made quite a few like colourful voluminous dresses, so I have a Pinterest board that's along those lines, and then it suggests other, you know, it suggests other pictures that you might like.
Yeah.
Really good way to get inspiration. But yeah, sometimes just from really random sources. Like I wrote about it for that, the yellow dress with the open back in the book.
Yeah.
I actually wrote at the start of the chapter. The inspiration for that one came from just a random girl that I met in the toilet in John Lewis in Liverpool.
Love it.
I don't even know her name, but I went in there and she was wearing this really nice top that had a back like that. And I said, oh, that's a really nice top.
And
then,
wouldn't it be lovely if she got in touch with you at some
yeah,
point?
I know.
That's me.
But it's quite funny. And yeah, I really loved it. And then went home and recreated it. And it's obviously in the book now. But yeah, sometimes just from really strange sources like that, or you just really like something. And
just pick up bits from different things, I suppose.
Yeah, pick up different. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about sewing. You can have a general idea, and then I do that quite a lot with Pinterest. You pick up little design bits from lots of different things and just merge them together. So
yeah,
the thing you make is exactly what you want it to be. Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry, I've got two more. Oh no, one more. I won't go through all of them.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Harriet, very lovely Harriet from Stockport said, so she knew you were a med student, and said, if you were given a pair of scrubs, what amazing thing could you make with a pair of scrubs?
That's a good question.
That's a little bit on the spot. So how could you glam up then, I suppose?
How would you glam up scrubs? I think you would have to change the colour.
Yeah.
If you're going to make them glam, you have to change the colour. So I would, first of all, I would dye them a different colour, or I would print or paint on them or something. And then, I don't know, probably make some sort of skirt and top combination or something like that.
Because you kind of had that in the sewing bee, didn't you? What was it? What's they called of that? Where you all rush to the racks and you all have to pull.
Oh yeah, the transformation challenge. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. Yeah.
You were funny. Well, so what was yours? I remember one. There was a beach one, and someone was all wrapped up in these. It was like a it was just a load of random beach.
Yeah.
It was rubber rings and all sorts. I mean, it was very funny. It's quite amusing, isn't it? What ideas people come up with.
Yeah.
Oh, someone's just said a rah-rah skirt.
Yeah, I could do.
I was going to say Serena's too young for rah-rah skirts, but you probably won't remember them. But
not really.
They're a skirt, and they've basically got a little bit like this, but the frills are bigger. They've got like about three different.
Okay, yeah.
So a rah-rah skirt. Yeah, that would be a good one. So I won't ask. I've got other questions, but I won't go through them all with you now because I know that you're a busy lady, and I know.
No, it's fine.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me just read this one then. So someone has said they love Edinburgh. They always visit the charity shops. Is it a really good place to go to refashion place? Is there lots of them? No, they love Edinburgh and they like to go to charity shops. Are there lots of them in Edinburgh, and are they a good source for revamping clothes or recycling clothes?
Yeah. There are a lot in Edinburgh. The quality of the items varies a lot depending where you go. So if you go to the more affluent parts of Edinburgh, it's really like noticeable the difference in the quality of the clothes in the charity shops. So there's actually one in quite a nice area of Edinburgh that has loads of wedding dresses and bridesmaids dresses, and it's a proper like bridal boutique in the back.
Wow.
Which I think is a really great idea. But yeah, no, there's loads of charity shops, and yeah, great sources for refashioning things. And yeah, that was a lot of what I did in my book as well. And now it's got to the point where my friends often say, oh, I'm going to give all these clothes to charity. Do you want to look through them first? I'm like, yes. And my friend even does it like with her parents, which is great because they always have good quality clothes as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Made from nice fabric.
Throw that shirt away. Serena will make something amazing.
Yeah, basically. So when I go to charity shops, I quite like keeping my eye out for nice quality fabrics as well, because if I am going to be refashioning it, then it doesn't really matter too much what it looks like when I buy it. I'm more looking for the nice fabric or the print on it or something like that.
That's really lovely. I haven't been to Edinburgh for ages. Went a few years ago, and I remember it was the first time I went, and I went round on a double-decker bus because I'd never been there. I thought I've got to go on the tour, and it actually hammered down with rain. But I thought, no, I'm going to sit it out on the tour.
That sounds about right, to be fair.
It's so beautiful, though, isn't it? It's so, even in the rain, which I know we all get lots of rain, but. So thank you so much for today. It's been
thank you for having me.
I just want to finish on that lovely quote. Oh, do you know, don't think there was a dry eye in anyone's house when she said this. I'm going to read it out. So, really talented sewers have fairy dust that they throw over the garment, and it doesn't look like it's been touched by a human's hand. That's what Serena's sewing is like. Oh, what a just...
I know, potentially the best moment of my life.
I'm not surprised. What a just... I mean, just, you could see it was so natural, and they were just perfect words. And everybody cried, which makes it, which we all know it's a good thing when everybody cries. So yeah, really well done. Congratulations, and thank you so much today. And we are, you know, the book is amazing. People, you can just go Serena Sews. It's on, I'm assuming it's at Waterstones and all sorts of any bookshop. It's a really good buy, and you do feel like Serena's holding your hand.
That's what I was going for, so I'm glad it comes across.
It really does. It really does. Well, congratulations, and again, thank you
so much. Yeah,
take care. Thanks, Serena. Bye.